Hey, what's up? We're back, and this week it's for UFC Prague, so should be a pretty good event. But first, we're gonna go back. We're gonna break down UFC on ESPN One real quick. And the first fight of the night, it was a pretty good fight. It was really quick. I actually had a bet on Emily Whitmire, so I was pretty happy about that. Took her down, took the back, got a real quick rear naked choke. Great performance. Two in a row now. Two fights where she came in as the underdog, and she got in there and got the job done. So big win for Emily Whitmire and for Albu. Tough loss after almost 2 years off. So you'd think, she didn't take much damage. Nothing really happened. For her sake, you'd hope maybe she gets right back in there. Didn't really get to show anything off. So tough night out there for Albu. And then up next, we had Luke Sanders. He defeated Henan Brow. He knocked him out. Brow looked pretty good in the first round. He was landing some kicks. He was doing a good job. But Sanders, second round, started to put that pressure on him. Landed a couple shots. You saw Brow really felt the shots. And eventually landed a big left hand, dropped him, finished him off with some pretty brutal ground and pound. It's a pretty bad knockout, man, and tough loss for Brow. Missed weight once again, so don't really know what he's going to do now with his career, but I find it hard to see the UFC keeping him around. Maybe they will, but it's getting kind of, to that point with Henan Brow, in my opinion. And good win for Luke Sanders there. And up next, Nick Lentz, Scott Holtzman. I was pretty disappointed in this fight. I actually I had a decent bet on Scott Holtzman. I thought he was going to be able to get the job done. And, I thought, largely I didn't think he fought the greatest fight, man. I thought that if he would have kept that pressure that he was keeping on from in the third round, from the first round on, I thought he would have won that fight, man. He was pinging him up on the feet with big shots. Lentz was feeling the shots, and Lentz, he did his thing, man. He controlled him. He landed some good shots in the first round. He even landed some shots that rocked Holtzman as well, but in that third round, I also felt like Holtzman had him on the ropes, man. He almost had him finished, and he should have won a little bit harder for that finish. And I also feel like when he threw that knee and allowed Nick Lentz to get a hold of him, I thought Nick Lentz was almost done, and I thought that was a terrible fight IQ by Scott Holtzman to throw that knee unset up and allow Lentz to come in and grab a hold of him, man. And that cost him the fight, and he lost 2-1. Big win for Nick Lentz. He's won 2 in a row now, 3 out of 4 fights, and he's kind of back on an upswing in his career after a lot of people pegged him for dead, and he just beat a pretty upstart prospect. A guy that's a little bit older in his career. This is a big loss for Scott Holtzman, man. 35 years old. Looked like he was about to make a run. If he won this fight, most likely would have got like a top 10 opponent, and now it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to do that for him, but I do still think Scott Holtzman has some skills. This was a fun fight to watch, and a good fight from both guys. Up next, Andrea Lee. She defeated Ashley Evans-Smith. Really impressive performance by Andrea Lee. Ashley Evans-Smith came in with the game plan, trying to take her down, trying to control her on the mat. She was able to get a couple takedowns, here and there, but no top control really, no damage on top position. And Andrea Lee was winning the striking. She was winning the clinch exchanges. And, she just beat up Ashley Evans-Smith. So big win for Andrea Lee. I actually would like to see her fight the winner of this week's matchup with Lucie Pudilova and Liz Carmouche. I think that's a great matchup for Andrea Lee, and the winner of that probably would be in line for a title shot. So I think that's a good fight for her. And Ashley Evans-Smith, she didn't look horrible in that fight. She did an okay job, and I think she's definitely, one of the top 15 at 125 without a doubt. So she can get right back in the mix with a couple wins, and we'll see what happens with her as well. But big win there for Andrea Lee. And then Manny Bermudez, he defeated Benito Lopez, submission in the first round. Kind of what I expected, man. I just thought that Manny Bermudez was going to be able to close the distance. Benito gives people a chance to close the distance, especially early on in fights. And Bermudez was just too much for him on the ground, man. Got that submission. He did come in 5 pounds overweight, so that kind of marred the victory a little bit for him. But another finish, still undefeated, being an undefeated guy that a lot of people were thinking could potentially beat Manny Bermudez here. So big win for Manny Bermudez. He called out Sean O'Malley, which would be a fun fight. A clash of styles there, and both guys are undefeated. And for Benito Lopez, tough loss, but he'll be back for sure. He didn't take much damage. It was a submission, first round, learning lesson for him, and he's still a young guy. Up next, Aljamain Sterling versus Jimmy Rivera. I was really disappointed in this fight, this performance by Jimmy Rivera, man. Even right from the start, the first 10 seconds of the fight, he allows Aljamain Sterling to run right over right over to him. He doesn't move. It's like he was like, I don't know, a deer in headlights in this fight. He didn't move at all off the start. Hadžović pushes him, his back gets a cage in the first 10 seconds of the fight. And, Jimmy Rivera just wasn't letting his shots go. He was allowing Sterling to do whatever he wanted. He was allowing Sterling to walk him down. He was giving him too much respect with the wrestling, so he wasn't letting his shots go. Sterling was the one that was dominating the striking exchanges. He hurt him a couple times. Rivera didn't do anything, man. He even told his corner after the first round that he fell off. And just a horrendous performance there by Jimmy Rivera. I mean, big win for Hadžović. Sterling. Don't want to take anything away from him. That was a huge win. He looked really good as well. He's definitely one of the most improved fighters in the UFC, man. I mean, from when he first came into where he's at now. Big improvements, especially in his striking. And he's a force to be reckoned with. But I do think Jimmy Rivera just had a very bad performance in this fight. And, we'll see what happens. I don't know if Jimmy Rivera is starting to fade a little bit, starting to be on the back end of his career, or Aljamain Sterling is just that good at controlling distance, maybe. I don't know, but didn't think Jimmy Rivera really looked very good in that fight. Then up next, Andre Fili versus Myles Jury. And this was a fun fight. Also kind of what I expected in this fight as well, with very close, two guys that are pretty similar. But I just thought Andre Fili was, a little bit cleaner, a little bit more of a dog, a better athlete. And it was actually a fun fight. Andre Fili was showing off a really nice jab. Myles Jury dropped him with the spinning back fist in the second round, 1-1 going into the third, and Andre Fili toughed it out. He got a big win, and he's really confident at this point. He's calling for big-time fights, and, I think that he's earned another shot maybe at a top 15, top 10 opponent, and we'll see what he could do with that, but I'm still not 100% sold on him being a true contender. And for Myles Jury, just kind of the story of his career, man. He can never get over that hump. He can never, beat those higher level guys. And he's just going to be a gatekeeper for the top 15, really. I mean, that's what it seems like, unless something drastic happens. But I did think that Myles Jury, he showed a lot of toughness in this fight. And he's still fun to watch. He's still going to go out there and put on performances. But, maybe the people that thought Myles Jury was going to potentially be a contender, potentially be in the top 5, doesn't seem like that's going to become a reality unless something drastically changes. But up next, Vicente Luque versus Brian Barberena. And, man, I mean, this is the fight of the year for me so far. What a fight, man. I mean, Barberena, that guy is tough as fuck. I mean, he took so many bombs for Vicente Luque. He was just walking him down. He dropped Luque in the first round. Luque took his back, had a rear naked choke, completely sunk, had the Dar sunk. Barberena wouldn't tap out. Barberena started putting it on him, and I thought Barberena was winning the fight. I thought he was going to win the decision. I thought he won the third round and the second round. And one judge had him up 20-18, so, there's Vicente Luque. He needed that finish at the very end. He finished it with 7 seconds left. Just a beautiful finish with those knees, big punches, and first guy to ever finish Barberena. That's a huge win. 8 wins in a row, 8 finishes, and he showed that he can go through a tough fight. It still finished the fight in the third round at the end. He finished it with 6 seconds left to go. So, he literally finished it in the dying seconds of the fight. That guy has heart. Barberena has heart. Amazing fight, props to both guys, and, can't wait to see them both back in there. But I think Luque definitely earned a top 10 opponent next, and I think Barberena, I think his stock actually rose from this loss. He came in as at some points I saw him at plus 500, which I thought was crazy, but, he made it a very, very close fight, and he proved that he's another one of those guys that you have to keep out for, and he could be anyone on any given night, so, props to Barberena as well. And up next, Kron Gracie just ran through Alex Caceres in this fight, took him down, took the back, got the rear naked choke, and kind of what we expected. Big win for Kron. Kron's going to be moving on up. We're going to see what he has next up for him. This was a pretty big win. This was his 20th fight in the UFC, so he's definitely been around the block, and Kron owned him. He dominated him. So we're going to probably definitely see him get a step up in competition, and we'll see what he's going to do with it. We'll see if he's going to continue to impress or he's going to get humbled or something. But so far so good for Kron Gracie, and he got the win there. Now next, Calvillo against Courtney Casey. And, Cynthia Calvillo went in there. She handled business, and it was actually a lot more striking than I thought. And she did a good job striking with Courtney Casey, and she just beat her. I thought it was a pretty clear decision. Courtney Casey seemed like she was shocked at the decision, but, I mean, to me, I thought Calvillo clearly won the fight. And Calvillo called out Tatiana Suarez. Interesting fight there, clash of styles with Calvillo being very good on the ground like she is. So something I would definitely be interested in watching for sure. And Courtney Casey, she kind of just that's what a lot of people expected from Courtney Casey. I mean, she's a tough girl. She's very gritty. She could fight close with a lot of these girls that are in the top 10. But she just doesn't have that next level in her, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think she's ever gonna be someone that gets a big winning streak going in the UFC or anything like that. And yeah, so a big win for Calvillo, and we'll see if she gets Tatiana Suarez or someone else in the top 5 next, or because I think she deserves that. And then up next, Paul Felder versus James Vick. Pretty surprised by this fight. I don't think James Vick looked very good in this fight, and Paul Felder came in there and beat him up, man. He beat up that front leg. James Vick was visibly hurt by that. Vick bit down to the mouthpiece. He threw some shots back as well. And, Paul Felder got the win there, and it was a big win for Paul Felder. He called out Justin Gaethje versus Barbosa winner, which that would be a crazy fight. I know he already fought Edson, so not sure if they would run that one back. But the first fight with him versus Edson was pretty entertaining. So a big win for Paul Felder, 4 in a row now at lightweight. Keeps his winning streak there at lightweight intact, and we'll see what he keeps doing from here. His profile keeps getting higher because of his announcer job. And he's probably going to start to get more of these marquee fights. So I imagine they are going to give him a pretty big name next. And we'll see what happens with Paul Felder with that. And up next, the main event, Francis Ngannou, Cain Velasquez. And man, I mean, I think you guys got to give me some props on that. I called a knockout in the first 45 seconds. Said it on the video. And, that's what happened. 26 seconds, Francis Ngannou knocks out Cain Velasquez. And, there's a little bit of controversy there, and I do think that maybe that uppercut that landed wasn't necessarily like a knockout punch. Maybe Cain Velasquez would have been able to eat that, but I definitely think that it stunned him a little bit, and it was the reason why he fell back like that and blew out his knee or whatever happened to his knee. And, that was the fight. Ngannou won, and huge win for Francis Ngannou, man. I mean, he's building a heck of a resume. I mean, how many guys is he going to finish Curtis Blades in like 45 seconds? Finished Overeem in the first couple minutes of the fight. Finished Cain now. I mean, definitely. I mean, who's more scary than Francis Ngannou in the first round of a fight in UFC history? Is there anyone in the history of the UFC? I'm trying to think. I mean, put in the comments you agree. I mean, do you think Francis is the best first round fighter in the history of the UFC? Or at least the most dangerous? Or what names do you guys have down there? But I mean, pretty crazy. Francis Ngannou's a freak, man. And tough to see Cain Velasquez lose like that after such a long layoff. Especially if it did have more to do with the injury than we think. So hopefully he gets back in there soon. Hopefully it's not a terrible injury. And, hopefully he can get back in the win column because he's a legend. He's one of the greatest ever. And didn't really get to see much at all from him, threw a couple kicks. That was really it. So still haven't really got to see how Cain is performing at this level. At this time in his career, all we really saw was that his body is continuing to deteriorate. Man, I mean, he hurt himself again. So let's see what happens. Let's see if he'll be back relatively soon and if he can get back in there and get the win. But we're going to be moving on to a UFC Prague and. Pretty good card overall. I actually enjoy the card. And for the first fight of the night, it's Damir Ismagulov against Joe Alvarez. And, this is an awesome fight. This is a fight that, all the guys that are debuting on this card are all pretty high level. I mean, I'm really excited about a lot of these new guys that are coming in the UFC. I mean, they aren't giving these guys easy fights at the least. Damir Ismagulov, he's phenomenal as well. He's 17-1. He looked really good against Alex Gorgees. And Joel Alvarez, he's 15-1. He's making his UFC debut. He's fighting out of Spain. He looks to be kind of like a tall, lanky fighter. Seems like he's a very powerful striker. He has good hand speed. He's very aggressive. He'll close the distance with jab, straight punch combinations. He has very powerful short right hooks that I've seen him drop opponents with. And he likes to throw a jab to a straight right hand to a body kick combination. He definitely does a good job checking leg kicks, returning with right hooks. He'll throw a lot of front and round kicks to the body, good jump knees, step in knees. His aggression, it really makes it easy for fighters to close the distance on him because he has a very flat-footed Muay Thai stance. But he has no problem brawling in the pocket. He has quick hands. He can land counters. And in his one loss, he lost via spinning heel kick knockout. But fighters seem to really want to try to take him down in fights. He's only had one career TKO, but definitely when he lands, it seems like he has a big effect on guys. And I don't really think Alvarez is the greatest wrestler, but it almost seems as if he wants to get put on his back. He'll try to defend body locks a little bit. He'll land knees, but overall his takedown defense is bad. He'll try to lock in guillotines, front chokes when fighters try to take him down. And he's very dangerous with chokes off his back. He has nice guillotine triangles, always is active, good leg locks. And when he sweeps the top position, that's where he's very good. He'll attack with arm bars, rear naked chokes. He has 14 submissions, and he's finished all 15 of his pro wins. And I do feel if an opponent can pass his guard and is more dominant grappler, he can be exploited a bit, even on the ground. But definitely has beaten some guys that are pretty good, and he's definitely high level on the ground for sure. And for Damir Ismagulov, he's very good. He's extremely well-rounded. He's a dynamic striker. He has a strong grappling game to go with it. He has a nice jab, good straight right hand. He will jab to the body as well. He has a nasty low kick. He'll throw a jab to the body to a straight right hand to the head combination. He does a good job faking the body jab, throwing the straight right hand first, catching opponents. And he also has excellent feints to create openings for shots, takedowns. And he does a great job keeping a high guard. His defense is definitely on point. Good job seeing shots coming, leaning out of the way, staying in range to counter. Very good distance control. He has very nice, nasty front and round kicks to the body, to the head. Nice spinning techniques. He has a nice spinning back fist. He'll throw spinning back kicks to the body. He threw some crazy strikes, kicks off the cage. He showed a little personality. He was taunting Alex Gorgees as well, and he definitely is a showman in there. He has 9 KO TKOs. He's never been finished by strikes. And he's a sick wrestler, man. Very strong on top. He has nasty single legs, very quick double legs. He'll shoot doubles, push opponents to the cage, get the body lock takedown. He does a great job controlling opponents against the cage. He'll rack up control time. And on top, he does a great job. He'll stand up in opponents' guards. He'll land big, accurate ground and pound punches. Very heavy on top. And when he gets to half guard, side control, he'll try to trap an arm, throw punches, throw elbows. He does a great job taking the back. He'll flatten opponents out. He'll land big ground and pound. And he'll unload with thudding power. Definitely tries to finish the fight when he gets in dominant position. And he's very hard to take down. He does a great job staying out of submissions as well. And I feel Ismagulov needs to not hang out in Alvarez's guard. But I do see him getting control time if he is to win. And Ismagulov, he isn't a big threat with just one submission in his career. So he's not going to be looking to submit you on the ground. And he's never been submitted, though, himself. But he has fantastic cardio. He's fought in multiple 5-round fights, title fights. Definitely is a guy with more experience. And he should look to strike in this fight, land some well-timed takedowns maybe at the end of the round, but stay safe on top. But I feel he has a much better top game than anyone Alvarez has ever faced. And Ismagulov, he looks very impressive to me, man. I see him being in the top 15 pretty quickly, making a name for himself. He's really good at blending his striking and grappling together, landing off the break. He's very fast. And I just see him being a little too much, a little bit better than Joel Alvarez. And I just think that he's going to get the win here either by decision or by KO TKO. So I'm going to go with Damir Ismagulov. I'm going to say he gets the win via 3rd round TKO in this fight. Man, this is an awesome fight. Rustam Khabilov against Carlos Diego Ferreira. Interesting clash of styles here. And both these guys are on pretty good winning streaks in the division. Rustam Khabilov, he's an elite wrestler. Everyone knows Diego Ferreira is a jiu-jitsu world champion. So it's going to be interesting to see if Khabilov will take Ferreira down or use his wrestling in reverse, keep it standing. But Khabilov is very explosive. He's athletic. He has a nice jab, a very good straight left hand. He'll throw a left hook. He has a nice straight right hand and a great overhand right. He'll throw a left hook, straight right hand combination. He will attack the body with the straight right hand as well. He will throw a left hook to the body, then a left hook to the head also. He'll throw a counter left hook, straight right hands. And he does a great job landing long hooks in combination when he has opponents against the cage. He will throw rear uppercuts, and he has good leg kicks, front kicks to the body. He'll throw spinning back kicks to the body, to the head. He dropped George Masvidal with the spinning back kick. He doesn't have big power. He just has 4 KO TKOs in his career, but definitely has a strong chin. He's never been finished by strikes, but he did get pieced up a bit in his last fight against Cajun Johnson. He was getting hit with the jab, getting hit with some straight punches, got wobbled a little bit, and that was a questionable decision in that fight. But Khabilov, he's a great grappler. He's strong in the clinch. He has good control. He cut Cajun Johnson in the clinch with a big elbow. He'll definitely throw off the break. He'll throw spinning back elbows. He has very good single and double legs. He has great timing on his doubles. He can lift it, slam opponents. He also showed that definitely could get big suplex takedowns against Michel, where it was just slamming that guy like crazy. He will shoot doubles into a body lock, like I said, and land those suplexes, just get regular body lock takedowns. And on top, he has good control. He'll throw enough ground and pound to keep top position. He isn't overly dangerous in top position. He likes to get his opponent's heads near the cage where it's harder for him to scramble. And, he'll attack with elbows. He'll look for, very high percentage submissions that he's not going to lose position over. But he has 4 career submissions. He only has been submitted 1 time. And like I said, he was a massive favorite in his last match. And he had a very close fight with Cajun Johnson that could have went either way. And it seems like a lot of his fights are like that because he kind of has a lulling pace and doesn't really pronounce himself as a much more dominant fighter. He has more than 1 split decision in his career, in his UFC career, and he has won 6 consecutive UFC fights. He's 9-2 overall, so definitely can't hate on him there. He's a winner. He should look to use his movement, walk fair into shots, straight punches, uppercuts, overhands. Ferreira swings a little wild, and if he could slide out of range counter, he could hurt Diego. I feel he will also have success to the front and round kick to the body. I'm not sure if he wants to get in top position against Ferreira, but I do think he will try to control him against the cage a little bit. And, maybe try to get a takedown and have, no control, kind of how we saw Ricky Simone do with Hani Yahya, and potentially just do that to offset the rhythm. But for Carlos Diego Ferreira, he's returning quickly after a finish of Kyle Nelson, and he's 2-0 since returning from his USADA suspension. He looks as good as ever. He's won 3 in a row overall, and the winner of this matchup deserves a top 10 fighter for sure. Ferreira is aggressive. He walks opponents down. He throws bombs. He has a nice jab, good straight right hand. He has a very good left hook. He's dangerous with uppercuts in the pocket. He lets his hands go in close range, and he is aggressive. He will throw a left hook, right uppercut combination in close range. He will throw a double jab straight right hand or double jab uppercut. He has nice leg kicks, and he likes to end combinations with head kicks. Good front kicks to the body, to the head. He'll also attack the body with hooks, with straight punches. Keeps heavy forward pressure and volume on opponents. Dangerous spins in close range. He'll land hard spinning back fist. He'll land hard body kicks. He does a good job slipping punches in the pocket, returning with straights. He doesn't really move his head. He's very hittable. He's kind of more preoccupied with throwing his own offense to worry about defense. He will get clipped, and when he gets clipped, instead of being defensive, he'll swing wildly. He wants to get it back. He is very tough. He always, is going to be a tough out for anyone, but he isn't a huge power guy. He only has 3 KO TKOs. He did drop Jared Gordon with the straight left hand. He has 2 consecutive KO TKOs, so maybe he's finding his power now. Definitely has a good chin. He's only been finished once by KO. And he's a dynamic grappler. He has incredible jiu-jitsu on top and on his back. Great takedown defense. Good job getting double underhooks, circling to the back, getting on top. He isn't really an active seeker of the takedowns himself, with just 1 in his career. But his scrambling, his sweeping ability off his back is very impressive. He starts working off his back immediately. He'll try for triangles, omoplatas, use them to sweep, get on top. He's super dynamic in the scrambles. Very fast in changing position. He isn't a fighter who stays on his back. He'll look for submissions. He'll attempt one quickly, create a scramble. And if he can get the submission, he'll get the submission. He'll try to get back to his feet. And when he gets on top, he's nasty, man. He has great back takes. He was able to sweep OAM, take his back. And OAM is a great grappler. And the control he had on the back was serious. The ability to manipulate posture is amazing. He dropped Jared Gordon. He trapped his wrist behind his back and finished it with ground and pound. He also hip tossed Colton Smith, got a no hooks rear naked choke, and less than a minute. He doesn't really allow for that feeling out process. He has a lot of quick finishes, 6 career submissions. He's never been submitted. And he needs to set the pace. He needs to be aggressive. He can't get drawn into that slow, low output game of Khabilov. He needs to be aggressive, walk Khabilov down in combinations, make him go backwards. And I feel this is kind of a tough matchup for Diego. Khabilov's a good counter striker. He's very composed. He won't be overwhelmed by the pressure of Ferreira. And I see him landing some big counter punches early, making Diego less aggressive on the feet, then start getting takedowns but not staying on the mat, along with controlling Ferreira against the fence potentially. But I do think that if Diego Ferreira could start to put that pressure on him, make him want to shoot, draw out the takedowns of Khabilov, bad takedowns, he could potentially get a submission here. But I think he's going to stay safe. He trains with Khabib's father. He's an excellent grappler himself. And I'm going to say Khabilov takes a unanimous decision, either 29-28 or 30-27 on the scorecards in this fight. And up next, we have Michel Prazares. He's going to be taking on Ismail Naurdiev, or Naurdiev, I'm not really sure. But it's kind of a bit of an odd fight, man. I mean, if Michel Prazares, if he has an agent, if he has someone that's trying to get him fights, he should fire that guy, man. I mean, what else does he have to do? He's won 8 fights in a row. And I know he was supposed to get Ramazan Emeev here, but what other guy that's won 8 consecutive fights, they're going to say, hey, man, take this guy, this dangerous guy. I mean, this is not an easiest fight in the world for Michel. Take this dangerous fighter coming in on his UFC debut. So, I mean, I don't know, a bit of an odd fight for Michel to take, but he was scheduled to fight Ramazan Emeev. Emeev pulled out. Now he's fighting Ismail, and he's won 8 consecutive fights, 2 in a row at welterweight. Ismail is also, he's 17-2. He's very young. He's only 22 years old. He has faced and defeated solid competition at ACB, and this is, like I said, a very dangerous fight to take with little reward for Prazares. And he's coming off a quick finish only 3 weeks ago. He's coming into this fight with momentum, and he's light on his feet. He has a long stance, solid movement. He has a nice jab, good inside leg kicks. He has very good lead leg. He'll throw a nice front kicks to the body, side kicks to the head, to the body. He'll throw a 1-2 to a round kick to the body. He closes the distance extremely fast with straight punch combinations. Very accurate. He can get opponents back near the cage. And he has finishing ability. When he gets them back near the cage, he'll swarm, go for the finish. He has nasty spinning back kicks, spinning back elbows. He's much better when opponents give him space. And when fighters make him go backwards, he definitely isn't as dangerous. But he finished his last fight with a brutal uppercut. He has huge power. He has 11 KO TKOs in his career. Good chin. He's never been finished by strikes. He's young. He's very confident. He's a solid grappler. He's explosive. He has strong double legs. He'll pick up opponents and slam them. And on top, he has pretty nasty ground and pound. He's very accurate. He'll take the back. He'll flatten opponents out. He'll finish with punches. He is an active seeker of the takedown in many recent fights. I definitely see him trying to keep this fight on the feet versus Prazares as well. In his most recent loss, he was taken down multiple times, controlled against the cage. He will attempt triangles, arm bars off his back, but he doesn't have the greatest get-ups. He did have a very good sprawl, and then he immediately landed the finishing shot after it, though, in his last fight. So, is dangerous. 5 submissions, and he's been submitted 1 time in his career. But for Naurdiev, he's going to need to go forward, keep Prazares at the end of his shots. He can't allow Michel to back him up, get him near the cage, and he's going to be the much better striker. And if this fight stays standing, Prazares is in a bit of trouble, in my opinion. But for Michel Tractor Prazares, he just keeps on winning. He had that 6-fight winning streak at lightweight. That was marred with multiple botched weight cuts. But he's since moved up to welterweight. He's now 2-0. He had a quick finish in his last fight. 3 wins in a row. With 3 wins in a row, 9 overall, no weight cutting issues. You have to imagine you'll finally get a top 15 opponent next. But who knows? I mean, Michel, he's improved his striking a lot. He's much more fluid. He has a nice inside leg kicks, good round kicks to the body with both legs. He has a good jab, overhand right. He also does a great job of throwing the overhand right as a lead. He does a great job throwing a counter left hook. He'll follow the right hook after the left, with the right hook after the left hook. And he's still always looking to use his striking to get inside, get the fight to the ground. He has gotten some confidence. He has to have, in my opinion, he's gotten some confidence from his last match because he dropped Fabitsky very quickly with the overhand right. Then he submitted him. And he has good in and out movement early. but he does tire as the fight goes on. And as he tires, he'll get more flat-footed. He'll start to wing shots a little bit. We saw that against Zach Cummings. He only has one KO TKO in his career, but he does have solid power. He's never been finished, and he has a very impressive record of 26-2. And he's a great grappler. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. Does a great job using punches to set up his takedowns. He'll throw a big right hook or left hook, duck under for a single leg. He'll also fake the punch, shoot a blast double. He'll shoot a single leg, lift his opponent to offset the balance, and then take the back from standing position. He's very good at slamming his opponents to the mat from that back position from standing as well. And on top, Prazares is very active. He has smooth passing. He'll move from half guard to side control on one side all the way to the other side. He looks for arm triangles, north-south chokes. He's a very strong mount. He'll take the back, get rear naked chokes. He has good control, and fighters struggle to get up from under him. He fought a very big fighter in Zach Cummings. He proved he could take him down. He has strong takedown defense. He'll jump for guillotines. He has an active bottom game. He'll use butterfly hooks to set up triangles. He also is hard to keep down, and he's really improved his cardio over the years, but he still does slow down. He is a submission threat. He has 10 career submissions. He's never been submitted himself, and I doubt that changes here. But Prazares needs to go forward. He needs to get takedowns in this fight. If he can get this fight to the ground, I do see him being able to control Ismail on the ground. I do see Naurdiev not letting everything go as usual because of the fear of the takedown. And if Prazares can make this a grappling heavy fight, he definitely has a high likelihood of winning. But I'm going to pick Michel Prazares. I see him being able to get Naurdiev going backwards with his overhands, eventually duck under, get the fight to the ground. And I think once he's able to get it to the mat, he'll be able to control, soften up, slow down Naurdiev. I do think Naurdiev is a great prospect. He's only 22 years old. I see him having a bright future. But Michel Prazares on short notice, that's a rough UFC introduction. And I'm going to say Michel Prazares is able to get a decision victory in this fight. Man, and up next, you have another great fight. I mean, the prelims on this card has a lot of bangers, man. I mean, a lot of fights that should be barn burners on the feet. But both these fighters are dangerous strikers. They're both willing to brawl. Marco Polo Reyes, he's coming off that brutal knockout of Matt Frivola. And Hadzovic, he's won 2 or 3 fights, including that highlight reel KO of Marcin Held. And Reyes, he's a former pro boxer. He has solid head movement, good forward pressure. He walks opponents down. He attacks the body head. With boxing combinations, he's very accurate with his right hand. He throws nice 1-2s down the middle. He'll throw the jab to the body, to the head. He'll also throw nice overhand rights. He'll throw right hooks to the body. He will throw overhand right, left hook combinations. He has nice left hooks in the pocket. He does a good job slipping and returning with the left hook in the pocket. When he gets pushed back, he can get a bit wild. He can start to wing shots instead of staying technical. He does have nice leg kicks, good front knees, round kicks to the body. He will throw good elbows in close range as well. He isn't the most athletic fighter. He definitely is not going to be as explosive as Hadzovic. And he definitely has big power, though. He could close the show with one shot. He has 7 KO TKOs and 8 wins. And he's very hittable. He has a warrior spirit, but definitely has a questionable chin. He's been finished 3 times by KO TKO. He's a good Muay Thai striker. He has good skills. He has good knees and elbows in the clinch. But he isn't much of a wrestler. He actually has 0 takedowns in the UFC. His takedown defense is questionable. He allowed Dun Young Kim to bail himself out with several poorly timed body lock takedowns after he rocked him on the feet. And he will pop back up to his feet pretty quickly. He has a decent get-up game, but definitely needs to improve his wrestling. I don't think you have to worry about getting taken down in this fight, but definitely isn't a submission threat. He only has 1 submission. And he's been submitted 1 time in his career. He does have good cardio. He has an iron will. And he's going to need to come forward, get inside, work his boxing. He needs to throw overhands followed by straight punches, try to land combinations on Hadzovic. His low kicks could also be effective. He's going to be the fighter with the less tools when striking on the outside. But in the pocket, I see him being more technical. And if he can land a clean shot, he has the power to finish Hadzovic. Hadzovic is light on his feet. He has good in and out movement. Great forward pressure. He breaks opponents with pace. He's very quick closing the distance. Nice 1-2s. He has a good straight left hand. He'll throw a front kick to the body. Nice round kick to the body. He has good front knees to the body, to the head, and he uses the control distance very well. He has fast hand speed. I feel he'll definitely have a hand speed advantage against Reyes. He carries his power for all 3 rounds. He hurt Nikai in round 3. Finished Marcin Held with a flying knee in round 3. And when he hurts fighters, he'll usually capitalize, get the finish. He has 6 KO TKOs. He's dangerous. He has a good chin, but he has been finished 1 time by strikes. And he's not a grappler. He will be trying to keep this fight on the feet. He can get over-aggressive off balance, and fighters can take him down. He showed improvements on his takedown defense, get-ups against Alan Patrick, but definitely has questionable takedown defense. He'll attack with arm bars, triangles off his back, and he has the capability to stay calm, defend, and he definitely has the cardio to stay dangerous even if you take him down in the first couple rounds. And he was, able to get that knockout against Howard in the third round after he was basically out-grappled for the first two. He needs to use in-and-out movement, land the faster shots, get out. And I think Reyes is the more technical boxer, especially in the pocket. But if Hadzovic is able to dictate range, land big shots on the outside, he can win a decision or even get a KO. And this is a close fight, but I feel Hadzovic will just be a little bit better here. I see him be able to land some darting punches, get out of range. I also see him being able to land some big shots on Reyes, even hurting him potentially. I think his kicks will be a weapon. He used to use especially the front kick to the body. I feel he has the athleticism advantage in the bigger toolbox. And I'm going to say Hadzovic wins a close decision in this fight. And I think it's going to be one of the fights of the night. And up next, we have another pretty close fight, in my opinion. Veronica Macedo and Gillian Robertson. They're both interesting young prospects. Both are young. They're only 23 years old. They have a lot of room to grow. And I feel as if both fighters, they have a strong mindset. They have potential to do big things in the sport. But Macedo needs a win badly here. She's 0-2 in the UFC. She has fought two top 15 fighters currently at 125. And the fight against Ashley Evans Smith was at 135 pounds. So I don't think she's in danger of being cut with the loss. But 3 losses in a row is obviously never a good look. And for Gillian Robertson, she has a much better record. She's 2-1. But she's coming off a loss. She got submitted in Brazil in her last fight. I was very confident she would get the win that fight. And I feel she kind of dropped the ball there. But both fighters will be hungry to get a win, show their skills. For Veronica Macedo, she's a karate stylist. She has decent lateral movement. She likes to circle, throw kicks, and try to dart in with punch combinations. She will close the distance with straight punch combinations. She's fast. She'll throw counter left hooks in the pocket. She likes to throw jabs to her right hand and then angle off. She isn't much of a puncher, though. She still doesn't really have much power on her punches, in my opinion. And getting inside on her is definitely the way to beat her on the feet. But she has fantastic rear leg round kicks to the head. She throws them with very little tail, very quick. And when she lands, she'll double, triple up on the kick. She'll throw oblique kicks to the knees and side kicks to the body, to the head. Her front leg is very nice. She has good inside leg kicks, very nice spinning kicks to the body. She'll throw that spinning kick to the head. If you give her space, she's a creative striker with good power. She still needs to work on her footwork. When fighters get aggressive, they can back her up. She'll stop moving her feet, and she gets taken down because of it. She has much better striking than Robertson. She's much faster. She has smoother technique, and if she keeps this fight on the feet, she will win the fight. She has 1 KO TKO in her career, and she has been finished by TKO once herself. Macedo is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. She's a competent grappler, but a poor wrestler, in my opinion. She's lost her 2 UFC fights due to being taken down, out-muscled, controlled on the ground. She is decent in the clinch. She'll do a decent job disengaging, landing some nice knees, good elbows. She landed some decent shots against Ashley Evans Smith in the clinch. She'll also roll for leg locks, and she has a knee bar submission in her last victory that she had. She fought for her first UFC fight at 135 pounds and second against one of the strongest fighters in the division at Angela Lee, and it showed. She was bullied in the clinch. She got hip tossed several times by both girls. She got her arm trapped in side control by Ashley Evans Smith, and she eventually was finished by elbows. But I actually thought she looked much better at 125 versus Angela Lee. She got taken down off of her own. She got taken down a couple times, but she used submission attempts to get back to her feet. And she can get a bit too over-aggressive going for arm bars and leg locks, give up bad position on the ground, eat shots. But she's going to be facing a ground fighter once again in this matchup, but it's someone who's much more her size, and I don't think she's going to be able to quite bully her physically like the other people have. But Macedo has good cardio. She has a solid mean streak. She's definitely serious in the cage, and she'll fight for your money. She needs a win here to solidify her spot in the company, and this is a huge fight for her. She definitely needs to use her footwork, lateral movement, kicks. She can keep Robertson on the outside and, at the end of her punches. I don't see Robertson lasting 3 rounds standing. She can't allow Robertson to back her up. She needs to always have her feet moving. I do feel if she gets taken down in this matchup, she should look to immediately scramble back up to her feet. She shouldn't engage Robertson in a scramble fest on the ground or try to work leg locks or submissions. The more she can get back up if taken down, get back in her round, the more it'll probably have a chance to demoralize Robertson. And for Gillian Robertson, she kind of burned me a bit in her last fight. I was very high on her to get the victory, but she ended up getting submitted herself. She's going to be looking to bounce back here, get in the win column. And Robertson, she's training at ATT. She's only 23 years old, so I expect quick progression. And she isn't going to have Dean Thomas in her corner for this fight due to it being in Prague. And that's her longtime coach. That's kind of a bit concerning for me. But this will be her 4th UFC fight in her 3rd country she's fighting in, so should be used to the travel by now. And Robertson's a grappler. Her striking is very much developing. She doesn't have much striking to speak of, really. She really just likes to circle, fake and feint, try to get in on her single leg. She'll throw a 1-2. She has a decent jab. Her hand speed is not good. She doesn't really sit down and put power on her shots yet. So due to that, fighters are able to absorb, slip, and return with definitely more significant shots. She does do a good job of feinting the straight right, ducking under, but she isn't the most explosive athlete, and she's going to really need to work on her technical striking to progress further into the rankings, like that top 5. She's very hittable. She was pieced up in her last fight. She did look to improve the fluidity of her punches a little bit, but overall she still lacked the power. She got hit with some big punches. She didn't give her opponents any counters to back them up, and she didn't really give them anything to respect. And, she definitely has a good chin. She doesn't get discouraged. She'll eat shots to get inside. She's never been finished by strikes standing, and she was just finished once by TKO on the ground. Has no career KO TKOs herself. She's a very strong grappler. She has great entries into her takedown attempts. She'll use her punches to set up single legs and duck under and dump her opponents. And when she gets a hold of that leg, she has a great grip. She is very hard to get your leg free. She'll duck into double legs as well. She'll even pull guard. She does a good job transitioning right into a single leg after she pulls guard to get on top. She was winning kind of the entirety of that round in the last fight versus Silva, controlling her on the ground. She even hurt her leg with a leg lock, but she got caught in an armbar in the last 10 seconds of the round. And when she gets on top, though, she has very heavy top pressure. She'll press her pass right in the mouth and take the back. She has hard elbows, very good rear naked choke. She choked Molly McCann unconscious. And then she was shoved off the back by Emily Whitmire, but immediately transitioned to an armbar, finished the fight. And there's going to be opportunities here for Robertson to take Macedo down. And when she does, she needs to capitalize. She should not do anything dangerous, rely more on ground and pound, and, control position over submission. And if the submission is there, go for it, but she needs the match on the ground. Robertson, she has 4 submissions. She's been submitted just 1 time. She needs to use the same game plan she always does. Get this fight to the ground. She can get to dominant positions. I do see her being able to land ground and pound and have good control on top. This is a close fight, but I'm actually going to go with Gillian Robertson. She just needs to avoid the striking here. She needs to get the fight to the ground quickly. I just like her entries. I see her being able to get the fight to the ground, control, and win rounds. She needs to be careful not to get submitted or walk into a kick. I also feel Macedo could potentially land a head kick as they exit the clinch or as Robertson stands up after a grappling scenario. But I'm going to go with Robertson via decision. I think she's going to be able to continuously get takedowns and control large portions of the round because of that, and say that she gets the job done here. And up next, we have Daniel Teymur against Chris Fishgold. Both these fighters are going to try to bounce back from rough losses in their last fights. Daniel Teymur, he's 0-2 so far in the UFC. He was finished in his last fight. And Chris Fishgold, he was finished pretty brutally by KO in his UFC debut against Calvin Kattar. And Fishgold, he's a grinding wrestler. He's a former Cage Warriors champion, and he's athletic. He has a good jab, nice straight right hand. He throws heavy low kicks. He has a decent left hook as well, and he's very quick when he explodes forward with combinations. He has a good right hook, left hook combo. He'll mix in uppercuts too. He does a great job of when he backs fighters near the fence. He'll swarm. He'll throw in combination. It's hard for fighters to defend because he always has that constant threat of the takedown. He doesn't throw many kicks, but like I said, he definitely has a very hard low kick. He has solid uppercuts in the pocket as well. He doesn't have big power. He only has 2 KO TKOs in his career. He's coming off a pretty brutal TKO loss just 4 months ago. So his chin is in question because of that. But he has fought in a lot of 5-round fights, so he should be able to push hard in this fight. Fishgold, he likes to close the distance with the overhand straight punches, get into a single collar tie in the clinch. He'll use a double jab straight right very well to get inside. He's strong there. He bullies fighters to the cage or to the ground. He has good double legs, nice single legs. He's well-rounded. He's a good wrestler. He has a lot of variety in his takedowns. He's dangerous with chokes. He can get them even from standing position. He'll clamp on the neck from the clinch, jump on guillotines. He's very heavy on top. He slowly works in a dominant position. And he likes to get the back. He has hard ground and pound. He'll use it to advanced position at opportune times. He isn't much of a ground and pound to finish guy, but when he takes the back, he has fantastic rear naked chokes. He does a good job sneaking the arm under the chin. He's won 12 fights via submission in his career. He's only 3-1-1 in decisions, so he's definitely a finisher. And Fishgold, he needs to get inside, jam the kicks at Teymur, work in close quarters. If he can get inside, the constant of the takedown will allow him to work his hands, in my opinion. And if this fight does hit the ground, I believe Fishgold will be the one on top. And we have seen Teymur gassed submit in his last 2 UFC fights, so keeping the pressure and pace high will be key to a Fishgold victory. And Fishgold, he actually was looking good in his last fight against a guy that's pretty high level in Calvin Kattar. I thought he started out very fast. He was piecing up Kattar on the feet, landing that overhand right very nicely, and was winning the fight until he wasn't. So he looked pretty good. And Daniel Teymur, he's in desperate need of a win to keep his job in the UFC. And his brother David, he's also coming off a loss. He broke his orbital, so probably hasn't gotten to train with him much this camp. And Teymur, he's very explosive. He usually has strong starts. He closes the distance quickly. Has hard leg kicks, big overhands, nice left hook, overhand right combination. His overhand rights are very accurate. They're powerful. And he has a good left hook lead. He has nasty uppercuts. He'll throw uppercut, left hook combinations. When he gets inside and has opponents hurt, he will get wild. He'll throw looping shots. Fighters able to counter, hurt him as well. He will throw hard body kicks, head kicks. He'll also throw a lot of spinning back elbows. Definitely slows down quickly if you could survive the first round. He doesn't handle getting pressured well. And when he lands a strike, he'll fall in love with it. He'll throw it over and over until it becomes predictable. All of his wins, they happen in round 1. And he does have power with 3 KO TKOs, but he has a questionable chin. I have seen him essentially finished and have the fight restarted in kind of a wild scene on a regional fight. He also now came to the UFC, took 2 pretty big beatings, and he isn't a bad grappler, especially early. He has nice knees and elbows in the clinch. He has good clinch takedowns himself. He'll get in the guard. He'll land elbows. He has good takedown defense. And when he gets taken down early, he explodes back up. But I do feel his wide shots make it easy for opponents to get inside on him, create grappling situations. As he tires, he can get taken down with double legs, gets a cage. Doesn't have much off his back. He got mounted against Danny Henry. He was beat up for a huge portion of round 3. He also got submitted by Julio Arce by rear naked choke. He tends to give his back when he stands up. Fishgold is very good on the back, and Teymur needs to show more composure here. He can't gas himself out. If he could strike from the outside, move in and out, defend takedowns without getting wild, he could win a stand-up fight. But Fishgold has a good matchup here, in my opinion. He has an aggressive fighter who's going to give him opportunities to take him down, and a fighter that gasses. And Teymur also gives his back to stand up, something that Fishgold can exploit. And as long as Fishgold has his chin intact, it doesn't get cracked early. And I think he's going to take over this fight. And my pick is going to be Chris Fishgold via 3rd round rear naked choke, and pretty confident in that pick as well. Up next, we have a very agitated fight here. Carlo Pedersoli is returning for about 4 months after getting knocked out less than a minute against Alex Cowboy Oliveira. And I know he shit the bed in that fight for a lot of people. I know certain people had him and picked and bet on him. And he's going to be looking to bounce back, though, against that AKA product, Dwight Grant, who's coming off a very controversial split decision loss to Zach Otto. And Carlo Pedersoli, he's a karate fighter. He has good movement. He lands a lot of striking variety. He's a southpaw. He has creative striker as well. He has a good jab. Very nice left hand. He'll throw inside-outside leg kicks along with oblique kicks. He has his straight left hand and overhand left are very accurate. He's a great kicker. He has a very educated lead leg. Nice front kick, side kick to the body, to the head. He does a good job throwing question mark kicks to the head. He'll fake the overhead left and throw the question mark kick. He likes to throw jab, rear leg, head kicks. And he will throw nice snap kicks to the body. He has nice spinning back kicks to the head, to the body as well. He can throw the kicks with both legs very fluidly. It makes him a tricky opponent. He has good distance control. Most of the time when he finds his range, he'll land in and out very well. He does keep his hands low, and fighters who get aggressive can't close the distance on him, and they do give him problems. We saw that with Alex Cowboy. He isn't a good boxer, and when he moves backwards, he can't throw kicks. He holds his hands low. It leaves openings for explosive fighters to close the distance, land knockout shots. Alex Cowboy knocked him on under a minute, but he does have a good chin. He's never been finished besides that. And Pedersoli is a solid grappler. He's a pretty good wrestler. He has good timing on his double legs. He chains together his takedown attempts well. He'll grab a single and go to a double leg. If he can't get that, he'll go for the body lock. He doesn't really have great top control. He's an extremely physical. He can be controlled against the cage himself. He got hit with some good knees, good elbows over his career in the clinch. He does do a good job getting the tie clinch, going for knees to the head, but he can be taken down, and off his back, he doesn't look very good. He got his guard passed very easily by Nicholas Dalby. He was taking some decent shots of side control, and it seems like he tires in the third round. He starts to fade. Pedersoli needs to go forward, use kicks, but he needs to be defensively sound. Grant's going to be coming over the top with wide shots, and with Pedersoli's hands down, a shot could potentially land flush. I do think Pedersoli could use feints to draw out the big action to Grant. He could duck under, take him down. He has good timing on his double legs, and it's something I feel he should do to break the rhythm of the fight up. And Pedersoli can't get tired in round 3 as he did in previous fights because Grant is probably the hardest hitter he's faced in his career. But for Dwight Grant, he was on the bad end of a decision in his UFC debut, one that I thought he won. And I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to get back in the cage, have another opportunity here. This is Dwight Grant's first fight outside of the USA, so we have to see how that affects him. Grant is very long. He has big power. He likes to counterpunch mostly. He'll use lateral movement, fake and feint, try to walk opponents into wide hooks, overhands. He will throw a overhand right-left hook combination. He floored Tyler Hill on the Dana White Contender Series with it. He does a great job using his reach to grab behind the head, land big uppercuts. He has good counter left hooks going backwards, and he's always going backwards, giving up octagon control. And I feel that's why he lost the decision to Otto. He needs to go forward a little bit more and not let his opponents dictate the pace. And definitely needs a good dance partner in there to land his big shots, or it just becomes kind of a boring fight. He really hurt his opponents. He really needs to hurt his opponents to guarantee victory. You know, he's only 2-2 in decisions. He has 6 KO TKOs out of his 8 wins. He's never been finished. He has good defensive wrestling skills. He's training at an amazing gym at AKA. He has plenty of wrestlers to work with. He isn't an offensive grappler, but he will catch kicks, get occasional takedowns. He won't shoot for takedowns, but he has a strong sprawl. He has a great job getting the whizzer in the clinch, circling back to the center. He's explosive. If you do take him down, it's hard to hold him down. He did get wild trying to finish Zach Otto. He was taken down in round 3, but he is able to stand back up, and he was controlled for about 2 minutes against the fence and on the ground in that round. But Otto's a black belt, so he wasn't facing like a scrub on the ground. He's never been submitted. He's never gotten a submission himself. He has good cardio. He showed he holds power to the third round with a couple third-round KO TKOs. And Dwight Grant, he needs to be more aggressive in this fight. He needs to move forward, try to explode with shots, catch Pedersoli cold. He's long, he's fast, and he has the power to land and put Carlos lights out if he can do it. But I'm going to pick Carlo Pedersoli in this fight. I think he should be able to control distance, avoid most of the bombs of Grant. And I do see him getting a couple takedowns. So my pick's going to be Carlo Pedersoli via decision. And that's what I'm going to go with. So Carlo Pedersoli via decision in this fight. And up next, you have another guy debuting in Klidson Farias. He's going to be taking on Magmomed Ankalaev. And this is a fight between 2 high-level prospects. It was originally supposed to be Ankalaev versus Darko Stosic, but Stosic got injured, and Farias is stepping in on about 3 weeks' notice. This will be Farias' debut, but he has some high-level wins outside the UFC. He's a very big, athletic 205er. He's well-rounded. He has very fluid movement, nice head kicks, good straight right hands. He has a good inside leg kick along with front kicks, round kicks to the body. He will attack with the straight right hand, overhand left, or left hook combination. He'll also attack the body with the straight right hand and come up with the left hook. He'll throw hard overhand rights, and he has good hand speed. He will throw a lot of straight punch combinations. He uses a lot of big movements to get inside. He doesn't really set much up. His sheer athleticism speed allows him to still close distance, land big shots. A fighter who has good movement can pot shot him at range. Will have success standing though, but he can be hit himself. He has no problem biting down on the mouthpiece, going to war. He has 4 KO TKOs in his career. He's never been finished by strikes. Or he has been finished at both of his losses by TKO, I'm sorry. So he has been finished twice by strikes. And Farias is a good overall grappler. He has great timing on his double legs. He has very quick shots. Once he gets taken down, or once he takes opponents down, he'll work to dominant positions quickly. He'll move to the mount. He'll land big shots, looking for the finish as well as getting the back, getting rear naked chokes. He got a very quick rear naked choke once he got a takedown over a very accomplished Viktor Nemkov, who's a good grappler. And he'll also attack with arm bars from mount. He's good at them. He doesn't really have the greatest takedown defense himself. He can't be controlled on the mount. He allowed Nemkov to get off with some nice elbows from in his guard, controlling for the majority of round one. He doesn't really have a great get-up game. He can lose rounds on his back. He has beaten more than one Russian wrestler, and he's going to be looking to take out another one here in Ankalaev. He has won 10 fights via submission, including his last 5 in a row. And he has good cardio, but he's never seen the judges' scorecards in his career. He's experienced, man. He holds wins over notable names such as Johnny Walker, Viktor Nemkov, the heavyweight Antoine Viagin. And I think Farias should look to use his striking and try to get inside, get takedowns. We saw Paul Craig land a few takedowns, and if Farias could as well, if Farias gets on top, he has a very good chance to finish Ankalaev, especially if he could get that back. But Magmomed Ankalaev, he bounced back in a big way from an embarrassing UFC debut. He tapped out with 1 second left in a fight he was absolutely dominating, but he didn't let that discourage him. He knocked out Marcin Prachnio in round 1. And Ankalaev, he's a very athletic fighter for light heavyweight as well. He showed that off with the head kick that started the beginning of the end in his last match. And he's a southpaw. He's explosive. He has a nice long jab. He sets his shots up a bit better than Farias. He'll jab to the body. He has hard low kicks as well. Very nice straight left hands, left hooks. He likes to throw round kicks to the body to a straight left right hook combination. He has a nice jab overhand right combo. He also has strong counter straight right hand to a counter left hook combination. He likes to mix in nice shovel hooks, short uppercuts into his hook combinations in the pocket. His rear leg head kick is very fast. He'll follow with a straight left hand down the middle. He's a power kicker, whether it's to the legs, to the body. And when he lands, you will feel it. He landed a nasty counter left hook to a head kick combination, finished his last opponent. And he's a bit of a plotter, but he still walks his opponents down. He has a presence in the cage. And when he lets his shots go, he's fast. And I feel his hand speed and kick speed are some of the fastest in the division. Both guys, actually. And he has power with 5 KO, TKOs, and 9 wins. He has good durability. He's never been finished. And he's a very strong grappler. He's a great wrestler. He's very strong in the clinch. He can control opponents against the fence. He'll do damage from that position. Land hard elbows, hard knees. He is great off the break. He'll unload with punch combinations. And sometimes finish with knees. And to the head. He has strong double legs. He can lift opponents, dump them on their head. He has good top control. He has brutal ground and pound. He's put people to sleep with ground and pound punches. And he will move to dominant positions such as the mount and look for the finish if he can get there. He was finished via a triangle to Paul Craig with 1 second left. In a fight he was dominating. He kind of seemed to panic. And he may be a quick tapper throughout his whole career. I mean, who knows? Could have just been one mistake. But he has good takedown defense. He gets double underhooks. He'll snap you down, control on top. He can't get taken down, but he stays calm. He does a good job sweeping, getting top position, or getting back to his feet. If Farias takes him down, I do worry that he will be submitted. We have seen him panic before, and Farias transitions very quickly. Ankalaev should try to keep this fight on the feet, stay tactical. I feel he has the better stand-up, definitely more volume. If he can use a lot of kicks, straight punches to keep Farias on the outside, he should win the striking battle. I do think that he can't get takedowns to do damage as well. I could possibly see him getting a takedown in round 3, getting some top control. But this is a close fight. Farias is making his UFC debut at short notice. And because of that, I'm going to pick Ankalaev. I feel they're pretty similar. But Ankalaev can win the striking, get timely takedowns. And I'm going to say he wins the fight 29-28. But I do think Klitschko, Farias is going to have some moments. And if you bet on Ankalaev, I think it's going to be kind of a scary proposition there. And up next, we have John Dodson returning. He's taking on Petr Yan. And this is a fight of fighters going in opposite directions. John Dodson did not look good in his last match. He was soundly defeated by Jimmy Rivera. And we all saw what Jimmy Rivera did last week. So Petr Yan, he's won 3 fights in a row to start his UFC career. He has a great TKO finish of Douglas Andrade his last time out. And it's going to be kind of his first foray into the upper echelon of division. So we're going to see how he does here. But John Dodson, he used to be extremely fast, explosive. He still is very fast. I don't think he's quite as fast. But he uses those short explosions in form of single punch counters or combination. And, he has KO power in his hands, and that's why he can get away with being low output. But, he likes to stay outside a boxing range, kind of run away, but stay close enough to kick. He's going to be fast enough to get out of the way of your counters, even with a reach disadvantage. But he doesn't really commit to his kicks. He throws a lot of fast kicks, get range, mostly just feints, moves, and then tries to walk you into that left hand. But when they don't expect it, he blitzes in with that explosive counter. his heavy left hand and good speed. He can work that left hand to the body as well, and when he lands, he could drop opponents with it, but hasn't really been showing that recently. He did drop Marlon Moraes, but Dodson doesn't really use his wrestling in fights. He is a two-time state wrestling champion, but he uses it to stay on his feet. If there's a lull in the action, he will go for occasional takedowns. But he has great cardio. He has a good chin. Never been finished, and he had close decision losses to people like Marlon Moraes, John Lineker. He's a hard style to deal with for anyone, but he is getting older. This is kind of one of his last chances to stay relevant in the division here. With the loss, I think that'll really diminish his stock. But Petr Yan, he came to the UFC with a lot of fanfare. He hasn't disappointed. He's 2-0 with 3-0 now with 3 great performances. He smashed Teruto Ishihara. Had a good performance against Jin Soo Sun, and then he smashed Douglas Andrade. He's well-rounded. He has great hands on the feet. He has a nasty straight right hand. You'll follow with the fadeaway overhand left. He likes to throw hard 1-2s down the pipe. He'll switch stances, throw quick straight lefts, great uppercuts and close. He does a great job keeping a high guard, using head movement, staying right in the pocket, throwing big shots to the body, to the head. Great job using feints and fakes at close to make fighters throw, and then he counters. Very good kicks, body kicks, nice head kicks, leg kicks, oblique kicks. He even has spinning kicks. He'll use his kicks in combination with his punches. He keeps very high volume of shots out there. I think that volume of shots is going to get him the decision regardless in this fight against Dodson. I mean, unless he gets dropped or something, because he's going to be throwing so much more strikes than Dodson. He likes to attack with spinning back fists, too, to close the distance, followed up with big kicks to the head, to the body. He has 4 KO TKOs. He's never been finished. He has a great chin. He does take shots, though, but he's extremely strong in the clinch. He has nasty short elbows, knees. He will disengage with great spinning elbows, nasty slam, trip takedowns. He likes to elevate, land belly-to-belly slewplexes, nice hip tosses. And I don't really see him going for many takedowns in this fight. I kind of see him trying to keep this fight on the feet. And I think what he wants to do, to be honest with you, is just try to close the distance on Jaw Dodson, throw in combination, kind of like Jimmy Rivera did. Keep a heavy pressure on him, keep the pace high. And as long as he doesn't get caught and he's throwing those combinations, he's walking Jimmy Rivera or John Dodson down, he's going to win the decision, man. So it's just basically like, as long as Petr Yan doesn't get dropped, doesn't get finished, or doesn't allow Dodson to get multiple knockdowns, he's going to win the fight. So I'm going to go with Petr Yan. I'm going to say he wins a decision here, and he's just out volumes and walks down, controls the pace, controls the distance, and wins a sound decision against John Dodson in this fight. Up next, I love this fight. It's Lucie Pudilova. She's going to be fighting Liz Carmouche. She's making the drop down to 125 pounds. If she can make it safely, she's going to be a beast for the division. She had one of the best female fights of the year against Irene Aldana. In her last fight, she lost via split decision. I actually thought she won the fight. She's going to be taking on the veteran Liz Carmouche, who looked very impressive in her last fight. She was an underdog. She dominated the Invicta champion Jennifer Maia largely. And her striking is not very good, though. Carmouche is, in my opinion. She'll throw a lot of unset up leg kicks from the outside. She'll throw occasional body kicks. She did look a little sharper with her hands versus Maia. She threw some nice hook combinations in the pocket. She had a couple of nice 1-2s. She landed a couple jab overhand rights, but she's still stiff. I don't like her defense. Her head is stationary. She seems to freeze a bit, anticipate getting hit. And when she's fighting moving backwards, she doesn't have much. She can get pieced up. Her striking is basically all to close distance. She'll throw Superman punches to get in the clinch along with overhand rights. She does have 6 KO TKOs, most on the ground, and she's never been finished by strikes. She's a military veteran. She's a tough chick, and she's very physically strong and explosive in grappling situations. She doesn't shoot many takedowns from the outside. She likes to get her takedowns in the clinch. She has good dirty boxing in the clinch as well. Nice knees to the legs. She'll bully opponents. She has strong body lock trips. She does a good job using big winging shots in the pocket to get fighters thinking about the striking, then duck under into a body lock takedown. She will land directly into side control at times. She'll attack with elbows with knees to the body. She has good double leg takedowns against the fence. And she has a good quick mount take. She'll rain down big shots from there. Good cardio. She can go all 3 rounds easily. She isn't a big submission threat. She only has 2 career submissions. And she's shown some questionable BJJ on top, leaving openings for submissions. But she has worked on that. She even competed in some jiu-jitsu competitions. She has been submitted twice in her career, and she's going to have to find a way to get inside in this fight, ultimately get the fight to the mat. If she stays at range with Pudilova, she will be pieced up from the outside. Pudilova's jab, her hand speed will cause Carmouche big issues. And if she can get inside, get takedowns, control Pudilova on the ground, that's obviously what she's going to want to do. But for Lucie Pudilova, she's very young. She's improving rapidly. If you look at her social media, you see the dedication she puts into the sport, that she's trying to fill in her holes. She's only 24 years old. She's fighting in her home country, so I see her coming in fantastic shape. And she's also going to be cutting to 125 pounds, so we do have to monitor that. But she has a warrior spirit. I see her being extremely motivated in this spot. And she has a nasty jab. She's a long power striker. She'll throw hard 1-2s down the middle. She dropped Sarah Moras multiple times with punches, and Moras is one of the bigger 135ers in the UFC. I expect her power to be a little bit amplified at 25s. She has a nice left hook, good overhand right. She'll throw a jab, overhand right combination. She keeps heavy pressure, and she wears opponents out with a steady stream of volume. She'll throw occasional leg and body kicks. She'll also throw front kicks to the body. She has nice spinning back kicks to the body, to the head. Nice front kicks to the head. She loves to fight. She has no problem going to war. When she gets hit, she likes to immediately try to get it back. Her hand speed is elite. She has great accuracy on her right straight. She's vastly the superior striker. She can stay composed, keep the distance with her punches. She should be able to win the stand-up very easily. And she has 2 KO TKOs in his career. She's never been finished by strikes. She's a good grappler. She's really addressing that part of her game. She's nasty in the clinch, very active with hard elbows and knees. She has very good takedown defense. Heavy sprawl. She'll make you pay for takedowns with hard elbows. She also can reverse the position, get on top herself, where she has aggressive ground and pound. She was able to control Sarah Moras on her back for a large portion of round 2. And Sarah Moras is known for having a dangerous guard. Off her back, she can get controlled, held down, but she has good defense. She'll attack with triangles. And she definitely needs to stay off her back in this match. She has 2 submissions, and she's never been submitted. She has phenomenal cardio. She pushes a hard pace. And Pudilova, she's going to need to walk down Carmouche, get her moving backwards, throw in combination. I see the second and third shots in combination of Pudilova. If they land, really stunning Carmouche. She's going to be the much better striker. And as long as she stays composed, doesn't overextend in her shots, keeps Liz on the end of her punches, it's her fight to lose here, really. And I'm very high on Pudilova in this spot. I'm going to be betting her. She's an underdog. I feel that she should win the fight easily, and I can even see a finish. I think Carmouche doesn't like getting pressured. I see Pudilova really putting it on her, to be honest. Carmouche had her nose busted up in her last fight. I believe she once again is going to have that happen here. I think you will see the fight of Carmouche slowly wane as the fight continues. If Carmouche is going to win, she needs an early takedown. She needs to get Pudilova on her back, get her questioned if she wants to pressure that heavy, change the tide of the fight. But if Pudilova was able to defend the first 3 takedowns of Carmouche, I see it going downhill very quickly for her. And I think that's what's going to happen. And my pick's going to be Pudilova via late second round or third round KO TKO. I just think the pace, the pressure is going to be too much. I think that Liz Carmouche doesn't really like getting hit very much, just the way that I see her react. Even though she's never been KO TKO'd, I think it's going to be the first time here. And I think that Lucie Pudilova is going to finish her in the third round via KO TKO in this fight. Up next, we have the return of Gian Villante again. He's going to be taking on Michal Oleksiejczuk. And Michal Oleksiejczuk, he's returning after a year USADA suspension. He's still only 23 years old, so he should have steadily improved over his time off if he's training properly. And, he says it was a tainted supplement, so who knows. But it's kind of questionable how he's going to come back, but he leapt onto the radar with the upset victory over Khalil Roundtree in his UFC debut. That fight was changed to a no contest, but it looks as if the UFC is still treating it as a win because they're giving him a pretty big name here, longtime UFC fighter Gian Villante. And with the win here, either fighter will be looking at a top 15 next. And for Villante, he's middling around in the UFC's 205-pound division for years now. Definitely needs to put a win streak together now if he hopes he's ever going to have a shot at that top 5. And for Michal Oleksiejczuk, he's a southpaw power striker, comes forward, he puts a lot of pressure on opponents. He isn't the most athletic fighter, but he has technical boxing, very fast hand speed. He is a bit of a plotter, but he does a good job staying loose with his hands, his body movement. He'll use a lot of fakes and feints. He doesn't really move his head much. He can get hit with big shots, but he has fantastic durability. He'll just eat the shots, he'll return. He has a nasty overhand left and left hook in the pocket. He'll throw nice 1-2s down the middle. He does an excellent job attacking the body with left hooks, straight lefts. He'll throw a jab, left hook to the body, or a left straight to the body, right hook combination. He does a great job blocking and returning the pocket. He has good defense at close range, nasty round and front kicks to the body. He keeps a massive amount of volume out there. He will not stop coming forward. His pace and body attack really tired out Khalil Rountree. And Gian Villante, he's known to gas. He can get hit as he enters with overhands. I do feel Villante could possibly land leg kicks as well. Oleksiejczuk, he does have huge power. He's finished 8 of his wins by KO TKO. He's only been finished by TKO once in his career. But Oleksiejczuk isn't much of a grappler. He won't look to be offensive with takedowns very often. He showed up some good fight IQ, though. He caught a kick. He took Khalil Rountree down in round 1 when he was the most explosive. He wasn't able to have much top control or do much damage, but it shows he follows a game plan. He could fight smart. He also took him down again with a single leg in round 3. In this round, he showed more top control. He was able to land some nice elbows, body shots from full guard. He kept Rountree on the ground. And he has good takedown defense himself, but I have seen him opponents get inside on him, take him down. Villante is notorious, though, for not liking to wrestle, so I don't have to worry about that here. His cardio is elite, and that'll be a massive advantage in this fight. I have not seen much of Michael off his back, but he does have one submission, and he's been submitted once himself. He needs to put the pressure on Villante, throw body shots, wear him out. The later the fight goes, the more and more it favors Michael, in my opinion. And as long as he comes back looking the same from the start of suspension, the constant forward pressure and volume of Michael definitely will wear on Villante as the fight goes on. But Gian Villante, he's become more of a fan favorite for what he does, out of the cage than in it. He's a personality. He seems like a fighter who's in it for the fun of it, for the ride. Maybe not 100% dedicated. He's a notorious drinker, partier. He gets tired in every fight he's in. He's a brawler. He goes into fights to bang, go to war. He has 4 consecutive fights that have gone to split decision. I'm sure he's going to want to finish here, but he usually starts fights very well. He has a nasty jab, great leg kicks. He throws hard 1-2s. He has a very nice overhand right, left hook combination. He throws hard. He has good power. He'll throw a jab, overhand right combo. He likes to throw lead left hooks. He has a good body and head kicks. After the first round, though, his volume significantly slows. I feel his power does as well. Because of that, fighters will start walking him down. He doesn't move his head. He's super hittable. I feel that right hook and the body shots of Michael will be hard for Gian to deal with. And his durability is a bit compromised, but he doesn't have a bad chin. He has been finished 4 times by TKO. He has 10 KO TKOs himself, but only 1 in his last 7 fights. He's not an active wrestler. He's kind of the antithesis of a lay and pray fighter. He does have 5 UFC takedowns. He attempted a takedown in round 3 against Ed Herman, but he was exhausted. He did not even come close to landing it. I have heard guys like Macedo say his good grappling game. He's strong on top. He says he's strangling black belts in the gym, so it's going to be interesting if he ever shows that in the octagon, but I kind of highly doubt it. And Villante has very good takedown defense. He shucks off the clinch well. He was able to stuff almost all the takedowns of Patrick Cummings. I doubt he'll get taken out in this match, but he has never been submitted, and he has 2 submissions himself. I feel Villante is going to possibly have a strong start. He needs to try to take Michael out early if he can. I see his jab and overhand landing in round 1, being effective, keeping the distance. He needs to start early throwing hard low kicks to try to stop the forward pressure of Michael late. If Villante can get an early finish or early lead, cruise to a victory, I see those as pass to victory, but I think if Michael comes back anything like he did against Rountree, he's going to win this fight. I was very impressed with the boxing of Michael in the pocket. More importantly, his pace, his body work, his volume. If he continues to develop and we don't see a drop-off after the suspension, I do see him being a potential top 15 fighter in the future. He's 2 years older. He's still only 23 years old. And I think he'll be an even better version of himself here. I see Villante, having a good first couple minutes, but as the round goes on, I see a shift happening. I see Michael taking over, and I see him making Villante react to body shots. Ultimately, I think he will get a TKO finish in round 2 or 3, and the pick's going to be Michael Oleksiejczuk via second round TKO in this fight. And up next, we have the co-main event with Stefan Struve against Marcus Rogerio de Lima. And, not really sure why this is a co-main event, but I guess it's an interesting fight. De Lima, he made the move to heavyweight. He looked huge. He was 253 pounds. He dominated Adam Weizerick. He's not going to be looking to get a more marquee win against Stefan Struve. Struve's definitely fallen on hard times of late. He's lost 3 consecutive fights. The loss here is in danger of being cut. He's only 31 years old, but along with the heart issues, his damage meter is high, and you have to question how much he has left. He's looked like a shell of himself in his last couple performances. Definitely needs to bounce back in a big way. Everyone knows Struve is the tallest fighter in MMA history. He's going to once again have a 9.5-inch reach advantage in this fight. 7 feet tall. He does have a decent jab. He's a strong straight right hand. He'll throw check left hooks. He'll throw a nice left hook right uppercut combination. He will throw it 2-3 times in a row. In the pocket, he has nice outside low kicks. He will throw a lot of front kicks along with the front and round kicks to the body, to the head. He will throw head kicks. He does a good job hiding it behind a jab. He'll throw flying knees. He's looked awful in his last 2 fights, though he was largely dominated. He's super tall. He's not really the fleetest of foot. And he's always had issues with short, explosive fighters who throw overhands. He'll back up to the fence when he gets hurt, cover up instead of moving. He has been KO TKO'd many times. Definitely has a questionable chin. He's been finished 7 times by KO TKO. He's still dangerous, and when he hurts opponents, he's a finisher. He showed a small flash in his last fight. He hurt Teymur with the front kick. He swarmed with shots. He has 8 career KO TKOs. Struve, he's a good jiu-jitsu player. He has a ton of submissions in his career. He's very good in the clinch. His height gives him an advantage. He has good body lock trip takedowns. He's very good in top position. Super heavy on top. His weight makes it very hard to move under him. He distributes his weight very well. He likes to land shots from half guard while looking for chokes. He has good darces, front chokes. He has good takedown defense in the clinch, but he can easily be taken down with level changes, and Arlovsky was actually able to take him down in the clinch multiple times. And he does have a good guard. He does a good job trapping a wrist, trying to get triangles, arm bars. But he has gotten finished in his guard by Overeem. He didn't really attack with many submissions in his last 2 fights. And he has 17 career submissions. He has only been submitted 1 time in his career. Definitely is a finisher. He's finished 10 of his 12 UFC wins. His first 31 fights of his career, he only had 1 decision. In his last 7 fights, 4 have gotten a decision, so it's maybe indicative of him not leaving 100% out there anymore. He's 2-3 in decisions. He's lost his last 3 fights that have gone to decision. And he needs to use his reach. He needs to move, throw straight punches, kicks, knees. He can offset the rhythm of Rogerio with front knees. I do think if he survives an early storm, if Rogerio kind of blows out his gas tank, he can maybe come back and take over late. But it's hard to gauge Struve because we haven't seen a good performance from him since the Volkov fight. And for Rogerio de Lima, he's a good stylistic matchup here. He's short, he's compact, he's explosive, he's a fighter with knockout power. He also showed off his wrestling skills in his last match. He fought another very tall fighter. He fought a guy who's 6'5", Adam Weizerick, with an 81-inch reach. Struve is still much taller, but he has only a 3.5-inch longer reach, and it's about as good as you're going to get. De Lima is a power Muay Thai striker. He starts quickly, he has nasty low kicks, kicks to the body. He'll put 100% power into his kicks. He really chops down the legs of opponents. I see those leg kicks potentially being very effective versus Struve. He keeps a high guard. He will explode in with left hook, straight right hand combinations. He keeps good pressure on opponents. He did a good job forcing Weizerick to have to circle with his back near the cage. He keeps a high guard. He does a good job returning with straight right hands after he blocks a shot. He'll throw an overhand right, left uppercut combination. He's at his best when he's backing fighters up, throwing in combination, finishing with low kicks. He will occasionally go high with kicks, but I don't think he will this fight. He is dangerous when he lets his hands go in close range, and he will have a hand speed advantage in this fight. He has 11 career KO TKOs. He has a good chin. He's only been finished by KO 1 time. And De Lima showed off his grappling a bit in his last match. He was able to really bully Weizerick in the clinch, control him against the cage, land clinch takedowns. On top, he didn't show much. He was able to control him on top. He didn't land many shots. He did fight another fighter who has a dangerous guard. He was able to avoid getting submitted. He has solid takedown defense. Obviously, Struve isn't going to shoot in on him. He was getting all his takedowns in the clinch. The clinch is where Struve is harder to take down. He can't get reverses at times and end up on top himself. I feel shooting will be a safer proposition, but it could be worse on his gas tank. He used to have a major cardio issue at 205, but he seemed to not have that problem at heavyweight. He only has 3 career submissions, and he has been submitted 3 times himself. But De Lima should look to get inside, back Struve toward the fence, let his hands go. If he could get Struve thinking of the takedown, he can come over the top of the right hand, knock him out. He's also going to be the faster fighter in the pocket. I think early on the low kick should be a big part of his game, and I could see him hurting the legs of Struve. Struve lost the clinch exchanges against Arlovsky. He was getting taken down. I do see De Lima having a strength advantage when they clinch and bullying him a little bit. I think he's just too fast, too powerful. I think he's going to be able to take him down when he wants to. He needs to be careful in the guard of Struve and not get hit with the big shot. But I think he should definitely win this fight. I could see him finishing Struve by KO early. But I'm actually going to go with pays out by decision in this fight. And I think he's definitely going to get it done here. And then up next, we have the main event. 2 guys that have been streaking of late. Jan Blachowicz. He's won 4 consecutive fights against good names, you know, Jared Cannonier, Nikita Krylov, Jimmy Manuwa. And for Thiago Santos, he's won 3 consecutive fights. He just defeated Jimmy Manuwa, which was kind of his first legit 205er. He had fought 205 before that against Eric Anders, but Anders is traditionally obviously a 185er. He also has that KO TKO over Anthony Smith, who's fighting for the belt at 205. So that's another win that he has at the 205 division, but that was at 185 pounds. But obviously this fight is really interesting, man. I mean, I think Yan Blachowicz is definitely the better boxer. He's going to be better inside. We've seen Thiago Santos get clipped with boxing combinations, get clipped with punches in close range and finish, you know, with guys like David Branch. And, you know, Yan Blachowicz definitely has big power. He's very nice with his jab. He has very nice right hook, a very nice straight right hand as well. And I think that, you know, if he could connect clean with Thiago Santos, he could potentially put him out for sure. But Thiago Santos, you know, in his last recent fights, man, this guy's just been a destroyer. He goes out there, goes for the kill. I mean, that fight with Jimmy Manuwa was just chaos, man. I mean, he got hurt. He hurt Jimmy. He almost finished Jimmy in like the first 20 seconds of the fight. His kicks are just unbelievable. Everyone knows, you know, what Thiago Santos is coming with at this point in time. He's just a brutal finisher. And, you know, one thing that I do think that Yan has over Thiago in this fight is the ability to grapple, man. I feel like Yan's a very underrated grappler. He's a good wrestler. We saw him school Nikita Krylov on the ground in his last fight. Nikita Krylov is another guy who has some interesting submissions himself, isn't a bad grappler. So I think if Yan wants to go that route as well, he could potentially get takedowns. And, you know, but I think that at range, he's definitely going to be the slower guy. He's going to be in danger of getting finished. And I think that Thiago has the faster hand speed as well. But, you know, I feel like Yan hits harder with his hands. If he can get inside, he's definitely going to be at an advantage there. The cardio, I feel like, is pretty similar. Yan has obviously never been finished by strikes, so that's an interesting thing here because Maheta is obviously a power striker that he's going to come and try to do. And I feel like Yan definitely has a better style to win decisions. He's more used to going to decisions. And like I said, he could change it up and do the grappling as well. And because of that, man, I'm going to pick Yan Blachowicz. I feel like he's going to be able to eventually, you know, start to wear down Maheta a little bit. And I think he'll get a takedown either in the second or third round, establish position, maybe land a couple big shots, and find a submission, either an arm triangle or rear naked choke, just some sort of submission. But, yeah, so I see Yan Blachowicz getting it done, running his win streak to 5 in a row. And this fight, you know, potentially could be the next guy looking at a shot for the belt. So would be another huge win for Yan Blachowicz, and I think he's going to get it done here. So I'm going to go with Yan Blachowicz to get the win in that fight. And, you know, for the most confident pick of the week, I'm going to say it's going to be Petr Yan to defeat John Dodson. But for the parlay of the week that I'm going to give you guys, I'll say to do Michal Oleksiejczuk along with I'll do Michal Oleksiejczuk along with Pesao de Lima because Pesao de Lima is at a very good price right now. So I think that's a good parlay of the week. If you don't want to use Pesao de Lima, if you think that's a little bit dangerous, you could substitute it for like a guy like Chris Fishgold. You know, I also feel like Damir Ismagulov potentially could be a good parlay piece as well. But my parlay of the week is going to obviously be Marcos Rogerio de Lima as the parlay piece, like I said. And along with Michal Oleksiejczuk. So we'll see if that one cashes this week. Pretty confident that it will, hopefully. And for some other plays on the card, I do think that Damir Ismagulov should get the victory here. For Carlo Pedersoli, you know, I feel like that's probably too close of a fight to call. I do feel like if you feel like Robertson could get takedowns, that you should probably maybe bet on her because it's good odds there. You know, I'm trying to think. I might bet on Damir. Nah, I'm not going to do that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But like I said, I'm definitely going to have a bet on Lucie Pudilova. Probably going to have a bet on Pesao de Lima. And, you know, you could go follow me on Betmma.tips. You could see what else I put up there. Not really sure what I'm going to go with. But looks like a pretty fun card overall. And hopefully it's a good fight. So make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys next week.